Good morning. My name is Cathy Tilden, and I'm so glad that you all are here today. This is a dream come true for me, and I'm just thrilled that you're here. I'm going to take a moment just to do some introductions, and then we will move on from there. I want to tell each of you that you are here for a reason. It's not an accident that you're here today. It's totally on purpose. And I also want to tell you that I understand what many of you are going through. I understand that whether you've been suffering with something for a week or 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, that I know what it's like. I was sick for 24 years, as many of you know. During that time, I just got sicker and sicker and sicker. It was in the prime of my life. It was from, I became a Christian through a campus ministry, and that was great. I got barely involved in that, put about 20 hours a week into that. My college roommate is actually here from Dixon, Illinois, with two of her friends, and she can vouch for me. I was trying to be the best Christian that God had ever seen, and I almost made it. I might have been in the running with some of you. But I really did just try to do everything that I could do, and went. I ended up going on full-time staff with that Christian organization for 7 years, and about halfway through that, I started to not feel too good. I just kind of became chronically tired, and I thought, well, if I just rest, for the weekend, I'll probably be better. If I just take care, I'm probably just burned out. I just need to take care of myself. I did this for several years because there was nothing called chronic fatigue at that time. I didn't know what anything was, so I just kind of kept pushing and kept pushing. I ended up changing to an office job so that I moved to Kansas. Never been to Kansas before, didn't know anything about Kansas City. I was from Chicago. But I moved here, took a job with the Christian organization. About 2 years later, I ended up going on staff with the church. Still struggling with fatigue. I remember when I took the job at the church, I asked him if I could take a month off because I was really, really tired. He said, yeah. My energy never returned. That was Heartland Community Church in the very beginning. They were a church plant. They went from 100 people to 1,000 in the 4 years that I was there. So that was not good. I was working 24/7. It wasn't good at all. I couldn't barely even stand up by the end of those 4 years. So I went to a Christian counselor, and she said, Cathy, if you don't stop right now, you're going to have a physical and emotional breakdown. And I knew she was right. It turned out I found out that I was a perfectionist, I was a people pleaser, and I had a severe fear of failure and rejection. That's not a good combination. So I ended up having to quit my job. I was married only 1 year at the time, and my husband was very kind, even though he was even making less than I was making with the church salary. He said, yeah, I want you well, so go ahead and quit. We didn't make very much money. He had to take some time to move up the corporate ladder. But once I stopped, I became very, very sick. And some of you might be able to relate to this. You can go and go and go for so long, and then when you stop, your whole body just lets down. And I was very, very sick for a long time, felt completely depressed because my significance came from what I did, and I couldn't perform anymore. So now I felt depressed, isolated, alone, rejected, and really pretty worthless because I wasn't able to do anything for anybody. So that was a really, really rough time. I ended up getting some good emotional healing during that time through, counseling and through the emotional healing prayer method that I learned about that we do in our sessions. And so that was good, but the physical healing wasn't coming. And that's what was difficult. And so I started to kind of go to churches and seminars and places that believed in physical healing, and started to learn things, heard messages, saw people healed, read books, went to seminars and read things. And I learned enough that once I applied them, my healing manifested. It just came forth. So that was amazing. But so that was really good with the physical healing. So what I'm going to share with you today is those things, the things that I learned after 24 years of being in that, that cage of just going, trying, spending so much money on so many therapists, so many therapies, so many treatments, and only getting worse. There's actually a woman in the Bible that says that she spent all she had and went to many doctors, but instead of getting better, she got worse, and I always related to her. So that was really devastating. But once the healing happened, it was amazing. Right before that, though, my husband actually told me that he wanted a divorce. That was a really devastating thing. So when I was sick, I could see that I was going to have a healing ministry. Like God showed me, even while I was still sick, he showed me talking in front of people. He showed me that I would bring healing to people. So I knew it was going to happen. So when he said he was leaving, that was really hard because I thought, well, how am I going to start this ministry? Now I have to work full time. So I started substituting and taking long-term ministry substitute assignments for a few years. And then all of a sudden, this thing called COVID hit, and the whole country shut down. And actually, that was a good thing for me because I was able to take unemployment, and then the Lord started downloading to me what the ministry that I should start. The name of it, he gave me like 3 pages of how it would work and what we would do. And it was just amazing. My daughter was sheltering in place with me at the time. She was a teacher. She said, Mom, I'll do your website for you. I'll help you with your logo. She made me business cards, and we were up and running in only 2 months' time after that. So God fulfills his promises, and that's the amazing thing. And so that's what Sonrise Ministries is. That's how it was birthed. This came out of my own healing journey. And I'm just so, so excited that I get to share with you all the things that God showed me in those 24 years. And I will say the one good thing that came from that was that I did go deep with the Lord. I decided that rather than becoming bitter, I would become better. And so I leaned into him during that tough time. And I discovered that he doesn't care if I perform or not. That like he loves me no matter what, even if I'm just flat on my back, it doesn't matter. He loves me no matter what. That was the hugest thing I got out of my healing journey, was that it didn't matter whether I performed or not. And that was a huge paradigm shift for me because I was raised in a way that what you did is how you got your significance. So that was amazing. So I'm going to get to share with you today all the things that I've learned through that journey, and I'm really excited. And I guarantee you that it's going to make a difference in your life like it did me, because I'm exactly like where many of you were. There's nothing special about me. I just learned some information that really made a big difference in my life.